Good morning. My name is Pete Husman. I'm the Sheridan County Road and Bridge Program Manager. Sheridan County for a long time has been using the traditional method of applying the chloride. That we started out as dust suppressant, but it's more of a road stabilization project now. We water the road, scratch it with the blades, and a lot of these roads are so hard and the water is so scarce that a lot of times we get less than satisfactory results, and it still costs a lot of money. So we've been for a long time looking for a method to get a more consistent application of the chlorides. I think we found that with Tom Oxford and his Millrazor. It's a sure thing that we're milling. We set that mill to go 2.5 inches, 2 inches, spray the material in or lay it in front of it and actually mill it in. We get a homogeneous mix in that full 2 inches, 2.5 inches, and we've had just great results. Whereas in the old method, some of our roads lasted the full season. Some of our roads we had to go back and doctor them up halfway through the season for one reason or another. So with Millrazor, we haven't seen that happen. As a matter of fact, on the traditional method, sometimes the material, it just lays on top for a while before it soaks in, and you get a thunderstorm comes along, washes it off. With the Millrazor this last spring, we had over a mile we had just done, and the thunderstorm came through and dumped 1.5 inches of rain on top. The section that was milled held up really well. We had to get it rolled before the rains came, but on the traditional method, I feel that most of the chloride would have been washed off. But with Millrazor section, it performed great. We didn't see any. The next day when it dried out, we didn't see any degradation in the efforts we had made. The traveling public really notices the difference between the sections that have been milled in and the sections where we've used the old traditional method, the consistency we get. The Millrazor milled in sections where we get it watered and rolled, graded right, behave almost like a chip seal road. They get a kind of a rough texture on them, no potholes. They hold their shape. We do have kind of a mixed bag because the road stays so good, so smooth, that the speeds are up on these sections of county roads. So it causes our sheriff and his deputies a little more effort in speed enforcement on these things. But it's a great, the Millrazors really put the consistency back into our MAG program. Another advantage of the Millrazor, we've got a section of road where the residents just flat refused to let us. They went to the commissioners. They didn't want the mag chloride or the calcium put on because it was so wet and sloppy on top on the traditional method. So we talked to them about using the Millrazor, milling it in, and they're all for it now because they didn't get that sloppy mess on top as we were applying it. It's more like a consistent a mix throughout that top 2.5 inches. Another thing we've used the Millrazor for is, like I say, we've got optimal gravel and we've got really bad high or low PI gravel. We've used the Millrazor to mix two types of gravel. We'll put 3 inches of the high PI down. We'll put 3 inches of the low PI on top of it and bring the Millrazor in and mix those two together, and it lets us incorporate the best of both gravels, the rock from one and the fines from the other. Gravel is getting more scarce every year. The places in Sheridan County where you can get a pit without having a public outcry are few and far between. So the interstate highway system and YDOT has been doing a lot of resurfacing, and the millings are available at a very reduced price compared to opening up the new pit and crushing more gravel. So we've experimented with putting the wrap on top and using the Millrazor to mill the wrap in with existing gravel, and we're getting some very good results with that. Using a material that likely would have gotten buried someplace, putting it in our roads, milling it, and getting a great product out of it. Another great thing about the Millrazor is most of our roads are 22 to 24 feet wide. This machine will do them in 2 passes. Traditional machines are 8 feet wide, and on a 24-foot road, we don't like to run down the center of those roads and kill the crown, so we have to make the 4 passes. With the Millrazor, we make 1 pass. You can turn the moldboard on the grader to angle slightly towards the center, so it throws that material and helps the grader operators place the material in the center to get the 4 to 6% optimum crown without a lot of extra work. So the versatility that we see with the Millrazor it's just amazing. We think we've just struck the tip of the iceberg on uses for it. We're using, on the average, 2 less water trucks, which that translates, in my language, into reduction in cost, but also reduction in the use of water. We just experienced 53 days in Sheridan County with no measurable precipitation, and over 90 days with less than minimal precipitation. You can guess how possessive the ranchers and the farmers were with their water. A lot of areas we had to go drive 15-20 miles to get water. This was a substantial advantage to the Millrazor. If we can stretch some of these roads into 2 or 3 years of maintenance-free traveling for the public, we've got to take advantage of that, and the public appreciates it. We get told every day that these roads, they want to know how we stabilized them, why they're so much better now, and we attribute the roads we've milled to the Millrazor and that technology, and I really think that's a wave of the future.